In the past few years, people all over the world have become more and more interested in learning about Korea. People have loved learning about Korean food, Korean music, and Korean pop culture. Well, today, we're going to learn about Korean numbers. The Korean Peninsula is located in Northeast Asia, near Japan and China. It is home to almost 80 million people, and its largest city, Seoul, is about 7,000 miles from Philadelphia. An interesting characteristic of the Korean language is the way that very large numbers are named. Numbers like 10,000, 1 million, 1 billion, and even 1 trillion. Let's start by going over the numbers from 1 to 10.
1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 2, 8, 9, 10, 10.
In English, as we count up from 10, we combine the names of the first 10 numbers to make new numbers, and Korean works the same way, like 42,
42 in Korean,
or 76,
76 in Korean,
until we get an entirely new number name at 100,
100 in Korean,
and then another at 1,000.
1000 in Korean.
Then we get to 10,000 and 100,000 before we get our next new number word at 1 million. After that, the pattern repeats, 10 million and 100 million until we get a new word at 1 billion. Then we have 10 billion and 100 billion, followed by 1 trillion. As you can see, the rule is to introduce a new number word whenever 3 digits have been added to the length of the number.
The English numbers up to 1000 translate directly into Korean, but then there's a surprise. If we were counting in Korean, when we got to the number that is called 10,000 in English, there's a whole new word, man. Counting up, we get to 10,000, which would translate directly into English as 10,000. Then 100,000, or 110,000, followed by 1,000,000, or 1,010,000. The next new number word doesn't come until 1억, which is 10,000 times 10,000. A 1 followed by 8 zeros. In English, this number is called 100 million. The next new number word comes when another 4 digits are added. In Korean, a 1 followed by 12 zeros is called 1조. In English, that's 1 trillion.
For native English speakers who learn Korean later in life, or native Korean speakers who learn English later in life, translating the names of these very large numbers is one of the hardest things to get right without having to think really hard about it. Many things in math are universal and make sense to everyone, regardless of language and culture. But the way we name numbers isn't like that. People have made different choices in different times and places. When these choices are new and different for people, they can seem very strange and confusing. But for people who use them every day, they seem completely natural.